The common understanding of affordable housing is that it's somehow the housing of last resort. It's the housing for people exclusively for people who don't work, who can't contribute. That is so incredibly misplaced. Many of the folks who live in our rental homes are the people who actually make the city work. They're our teachers. They are our police officers, our civil servants. There are our teacher aides. And in the vast majority of the people who live in our affordable buildings get up every day and go to work.
The work of the Housing Partnership Network is, again, about finding that gaps that we have, whether it's operational, policy and advocacy, capital, and thinking about how we create new innovative tools to address those as a collective. So it's an opportunity to take our individual voices, our individual needs, our individual power, and bring it together as a group to have a greater impact or greater outcome. And so I just feel like the Housing Partnership Networks allows us to come together to have a more meaningful and deeper impact than we could have as individual organizations. The other place where we find a lot of benefit with the Housing Partnership Network is in the establishment of enterprises. So how do we take the strength of our organization's resources and assets and the challenges that we face and find a place where we can come together and a platform where we can come together and address those solutions. Procurement through HPN Select, that's been a great benefit to us as an organization, to our properties, and to the industry. It gives us more buying power and therefore our ability to negotiate in the market. It really is the ability of the Housing Partnership Network to take the strength of our organization, our high impact, our production, and create a solution to a gap that we may have in the capital world. So this ability to aggregate capital at a level that we as individual organizations could not do, that is flexible, that meets the need that we have, and that's really priced in the best way possible.
But then it's burgeoned into creating new entities together and new opportunities. So at MidPenn, we're one of the founding members of the captive insurance company, which is to me really exciting, where 20 or so of us have joined together and we've actually sort of taken control of our insurance for our assets. So MidPenn has a portfolio valued at over $1.3 billion. It's a very valuable portfolio, and we were just at the mercy of the vagaries and the ebbs and flows of the insurance market. And frankly, more frustrating than that is just kind of being in the dark. Like, why is it going up? Why is it going down? My rates are not tracking on my own performance. I don't understand this, right? And so we joined together, we created our own captive. What I love about it is that we're the owners. And so we see the claims. We're in there as business folks and understanding the costs, and then collectively we can share best practices and control the costs. And so it's really been wonderful for us. We paid an initial equity investment that's been returned 4 or 5 times, and we've had very stable, and in MidPenn's case, declining premiums as a result of that.
Many of the enterprises, like the REACH, is a really good example of a time and space where we're really saying part of what we need to do as an industry is to preserve the housing resources that we have, because we were losing them in the market either to private investment or they were converting from affordable to market rate. Or we have these assets that are currently affordable to the people that we're trying to preserve, but they could easily go to higher income. HPN provided this vehicle for us to go in, so it's a national fund to go in locally and preserve an affordable housing stock in our neighborhood. And we discovered, again, through our engagement, that it wasn't just an isolated problem to Los Angeles, that it was a problem in Chicago and Boston and the Bay Area. And so we were all dealing with this issue of needing to preserve existing affordable housing, but not having the right capital to act quickly in the market. And then there was a solution, which was which HPEC that helped us to solve that problem.
So in addition to the Housing Partnership Network incubating and continuing to support Develop Detroit's growth, it's also been very vital and instrumental in creating the kind of partnerships that we need to do very large development projects in Detroit. So as a startup, we're still growing, and HPN has been absolutely vital in connecting us with other member organizations who are interested in Detroit and who have the type of platform that's complementary to our own. And so I think the best example of that is the partnership that we've been able to form with POA over the last couple of years.
As we came out of the recession, our loan fund was small, but the needs were great. And it was actually through relationships here at HPN where we worked together to deploy capital in Atlanta. And we take advantage of the strength and the broad skill sets of the reinvestment fund, who does our underwriting, does our servicing, helps us and develop our policies and procedures and servicing. But we do our independent loan decisions and are very much focused on trying to deploy capital in single family spaces, but don't do that exclusively. So really another example of the collaboration that comes through these HPN members helping us to better serve families and neighborhoods. We have grown from an organization that had never bought a foreclosed home, had never rehabbed it, and there were not other groups doing that in Atlanta, where literally we learned how to do it by going to talking to HPN members in Chicago, in Cleveland, in New York, communities that had had foreclosure, asked them what their model was, how they went about it, and started with a 6-home pilot. We raised a little bit of charitable capital. It was a loan through HPN CDFI that allowed us to do the 6-home pilot. So growing from 6 homes to 70 or 80 this year is great, but we're going to need to continue to add scale, and it's only through HPN that we'll be able to do it.
Our senior leadership really enjoys the opportunities to engage with their peers throughout the industry and really tackling the critical issues within our finance department around risk, around financial management. That ability to have peer exchange with people that he respects and values is really important. The peer exchange also provides an opportunity for us to come together to identify issues that are important, similar in our market, and finding strategic solutions that we can work together collectively to address those problems.
One of the things I really love about HPN is it creates a national peer group. And I've found that really hard to find. And so we get together and we have this safe space where we can talk about our challenges, we can talk about our dreams and aspirations. And from that, over the years, we've collectively, within the HPN umbrella, germinated on some really exciting ideas about how to advance our own entities and our own businesses and operations, and then also how to pursue new opportunities together in the marketplace. So it really, started with this kind of risk-free and trusting environment where leaders of these organizations can get together. Here at HPN, we have a number of peer organizations who we've been able to collaborate strategically on that, and it's been key to some of our success in that area. And I would say, though, that probably the most important thing that I really value is being part of a professional community of folks who share my values and who are purpose-driven in their work. And in the case of my HPN colleagues, some of the most creative and talented and driven folks that you could find in any sector. And so I really enjoy being part of that and find it very invigorating, even after all these years.
One of the things I really like about HPN is spending time with great housers and great community development financing institution leaders at the same time, because both of them are obsessed with what they can do to help bring healthy ingredients into neighborhoods. And the cross-fertilization that's possible there is pretty cool. So, in the course of today, I've had 3 conversations with CEO colleagues about potential things we can do together. I've talked to 6 different housing CEOs about potential joint ventures we could do with cities where we overlap. And in the context of that, found out the things they're thinking of pursuing that hadn't been our mind that we get exposed to because of this opportunity.
And I think the Housing Partnership Networks creates an opportunity for us to come together and look at local issues that can have national solutions and be replicated across the country.
It was the International Housing Partnership, and particularly dealing with our colleagues in the UK, that changed the way I thought about how we needed to own our real estate and how our real estate ownership construct could be different. And we began to change that. And that changing that trajectory when we did put us on a path of self-sustainability that we have just now arrived at in this budget cycle. We grew 300% in the 3 or 4 years after I kind of had this eye-opening moment with our British colleagues. You get in the room with some giants of the industry and people who are really sharp, and you're talking about challenges that you're facing, and there are others who have solutions, who have worked on solutions, or who know where to go for capital or what foundation might be attracted to an initiative that you're working towards. And that information sharing is free-flowing, and it's really open dialogue, and those types of things occur all the time. And that's one of the things I love about HPN. That's a unique construct.
In some instances, talking to HPN members that were doing multifamily work, but came up with concepts of we can do our multifamily development better by raising capital at the organizational level rather than the project by project level. So we said, wow, that's a fabulous idea, and went and applied those learnings to our single family work.
We're truly living the vision of HPN, and that is taking the leadership, the entrepreneurs, the innovation that we do every day, and helping to advance the work of the field and making sure that we have the resources that we need to be successful. So whether that is, again, access to capital, whether that is regulatory or policy changes in Washington, D.C., are we thinking most critically about how we can be effective at the community level? All the things that we're doing today are about the future of the field, the future of the industry, the future of the communities that we're working in. So I know it sounds a little weird, but I really do feel like we're living every day the vision and the future of HPN.